wherever you're watching from. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. You see, it's very important that I talk with us today regarding northern Nigeria. I have been very concerned since morning, been thinking about the north of Nigeria, and wondering what is going on in the north, and it's a really messy situation. Um, we've been having so many stories coming from the north of killings, butchering. In fact, I saw one particular picture today from Benue where, after the butchering, this brother, no ambulance, nothing. This brother had to carry his brother on his back, on the bike to go, um, whether to the graveside or whatever he's going to do with the body to put him in the mortuary or something. Now, my very concern about the North is the craziness to which, the people have been brainwashed to reason, and the way they have been brainwashed to reason. And my concern here is, sorry, I'm still in the office. I'm tired and just I'm trying to, I've been working since morning, so trying to my mind is where I am trying to get us to, but my body is still trying to catch up with expressing the details on all of that. Anyways, but I'll try. Now, the level of brainwashing of the Northerners, especially the houses, is alarming. And not just the houses, the middle belts. The middle belts, have also got themselves to a situation where they have become as dormant, as redundant, and as weak as the houses. Anyways, before I go on, I want you to share this broadcast because I'm going to be aligning very important facts here and points that we would need to really help our northern brothers to reason and to look further or deeper into their situation and their plight. My name is Kelly Jambers. Please like this video, share on all your platforms, your social media platforms, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Very important and very good to do that so you can help us to spread the gospel. Now, the middle belt has become as redundant and as dominant as the houses. Now, the Hausa nation had been conquered a long time ago, which I don't need to tell you the story here, the story of Osman Dan Fodio and what had happened in that kingdom and how they have taken over and been very destructive to the people of northern Nigeria. Um, Now, the concern here is now how the people have been brainwashed to think that they need to keep the West and the East with them and to keep taking their resources from them, and that they cannot survive without the West and the East, or they can't do business, or they can't move forward without the West and the East. Now, the concern is the worry here is that these guys in the north and the middle belt have been made to believe that they just have to continue to stay in the contraption, that Nigerian narrative, so that they would continue to steal and milk and take from the west and from the east, and also brainwashed to believe that the land of the west and the east is theirs, so they must continue to stay under Nigeria until they take everything from the people of the west and the east. And it is a concern. That is why you see that there is no pressure with them. They are not concerned about the killings, even in their territories. They are not concerned about talking about dividing. Now, if I tell you what is in, the damn, that's crazy. Yeah. It's true. It's true. That is what they believe. They have been told that the western lands, the eastern lands belong to them. So it makes them not to think about leaving Nigeria. It makes them. That's why they don't want them to go to school. They don't want their marjories to learn. They don't want them to know their rights. They don't want them to know about Western education because they feel that once they know this, they will begin to put one and one together, and before you know it, they will begin to understand their rights, what they should know, and all of that. They keep brainwashing them with the facts of their Islamic teachings, making them believe that Allah has given them the land, the Western land, the Eastern land, the Biafran land, the Oduduwa land, and they need to continue to be under Nigeria to hold those, to take those territories. And that is why you see them having this hate for Mazen and Kano. That's why you see them having this hate for an average Easterner and Westerner because they believe that you are in their land, they need to get their lands back. They believe that Allah has given them that land. And their technocrats or their oligarchies and their leaders don't want them to actually understand these facts. Don't want them to get this knowledge of educations, Western education, so that they don't begin to reason properly. So they have been made to think. Now, remember, since the 18th century, they have been conquered by Usman Dan Fodio. They have been, or the 19th century, they have been conquered by Usman Dan Fodio. The houses have been conquered. The middle belts are even under that pressure because they have been made to think that they are also part of the North in a sense, or they are their brothers. So they have to do things together. That's why you see that during the 1967 war, they came together and Gowon could submit himself to become the tool to be used against the Biafran nation. The Biafran nation. They have this mindset. But let me tell you something. There's something I want to tell you here. Did you know that the North has so much wealth? You see, the soil in Zamfara and some other parts of the North, are very rich in many rare earth and mineral resources. See, the reason why Boko Haram and other terrorist organizations are in places like Sambisa Forest and carrying out killings in some part of the North, Borno and other places, it's not because they want to, they don't think that they can defeat the land there or all of that. They believe that they need to eliminate the locals so that they can take full charge of those territories and continue to steal the resources. Did you know that the Western nations are having serious businesses, including China and all of that, selling resources? Did you know that Zamfara has the sand in Zamfara and other parts as big as those places are? You see how wide the north is. The soil in Zamfara is worth serious dollars. They take those soils abroad, they take them to China, they sell them for huge monies, for good dollars. And so the people there seem to be like the citizens or the owners of the land seem to be like a threat to them, seem to be like an obstacle to them. They want to take total control of those places so that, and that is why you see that they are killing the locals to take over their lands. Today, we hear, of course, we don't hear, we know they are infiltrating our land, the west, the east, because they also believe that the resources there belong to them. Now, the resources coming from the north, the soil, the gold, the resources, the things they sell there, don't go to the coffers of the federal government. It is taken by the caliphate. It is owned by the caliphate. The resources of the north, the gold and the things they make from there, belong to the caliphate because they believe that the Nigeria contraption is actually a caliphate project. Is actually a project of the caliphate and belong to the caliphate. So anything they get is for the caliphate. The reason why they share the minerals in the east or the oil that comes from the east is because they have not totally conquered the east, and the easterners are still part of their governing system and will not take it lightly, especially their politicians will also want to be part of the cashing out. And of course, they also need to circulate resources around for the people to have some stuff they call developmental funds, which of course they use very minimal of it to develop, to do things for the people or to do things for the areas, and then steal the remaining. Now, what they are actually doing in the west, on the east, giving out, taking the whole resources and giving out little. I think what they give is about 13% derivation, to them, as therefore taking their resources, and then they now share the others to the other parts of the land. Now, ask yourself, the other parts of the country, the north, the south, the west, the east. Now, ask yourself, why is it that the gold taken from the north is not accounted for? Why is it that the rare earth sold in Zamfara is not accounted for? Why is it that the uranium taken from the north is not accounted for? What do you think the north is? The north is also an extension of Niger Republic. Every resource you see, all the resources in Niger Republic are also extended in the north. They are in the north, northern part of Nigeria too, because Niger and that part of Nigeria are the same territory. It is the British that came to divide it. It was during the what they call that stuff now. Um, I can't remember now. But anyways, the partitioning done in the late 1880s, that actually caused the situation we have right now. The north is supposed to be with Niger Republic and all of that. Africa has a vast land that goes like that. Now, the resources coming from those places now, Niger Republic is now have now taken over the resources and causing, and making sure that France is not part of it. They are taking over their resources. France is now sponsoring terrorism, and they have, remember the other time, the the um, the African, boss came out and was talking about terrorism. These same terrorists are being sponsored by the West to create unrest. They are allowed and permitted to operate, and they are told their limits and what they have to do, and they know that they have to take the resources of the people, and the West also have to take the resources of the people. So it's like two thieves trying to understand each other so that they can steal from the owners. They have their differences. They know that their ideologies are different. That is what you see now. Don't you see? Don't you begin to understand? Ask yourself this question: why is it that, um, and blessed Chinonso, good to have you. Say hi, hi to you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. VJ said, "Damn, that's crazy. Wow." These are the things that we should understand and know. These are the things that are happening. Now, what is really happening to the Northerners? That's my problem. They have resources. Is it that they don't know that they have so much in their land that they know? But you see, the brainwashing here is Allah has given us the land. We are your leaders. Allah puts us as your leaders. We control the land and the resources on behalf of Allah. You go and work it out, get the resources for us so that we can use it to promote the work of Allah. All you need to do as someone who is just a citizen is to keep working to get the resources so that Allah can use the resources to get other things and do other things for himself. So the people stay as puppets. They stay as, the people are comfortable with being poor. Now, my question here is, what is, now, if we, okay, let's just agree that the people of the North are very docile and not really thinking that their fate is in the hands of their politicians and those ones who rule them religiously. What about the people in the middle belt? Places like Benue, where they are being killed. I hear that some of their people are even selling lands to the Fulanese in in Benue there. Benue is close to us. Other parts like Plateau and all those places. What is happening? Why are they always waiting for themselves to be killed or for their people to be killed? And then they come to social media and make noise and cry and show us pictures and videos of dead bodies. And then they now go back and sit down waiting for the next kill to come to them, or the death to come to them, and then they now bring it again on social media. Some of them will appeal to the same governments that have neglected them all these years, telling them to come to their aid. What is really going on? What is happening in the northern Nigeria? What is going on with the northern people? The north has resources. The north has rare earth. The sand in the north is treasure. The north is rich. The resources go to the caliphate. The reason why the resources in the west and the east is not going to the caliphate is because yet they have not conquered it fully. That's why they can't wait to do everything. As Mazen Namkano is in jail, they are trying to do everything to make sure they conquer the east. At least when they conquer the east, they know the west is a bygone. It's just easy. They just take it. They know Yoruba land, they can take it because they have more of their people who are Muslims in Yoruba land, and they know how to penetrate. But they know that the east is a very stronghold that they need to penetrate using different means, and that is why they are doing everything to make sure they are concentrating in buying lands through the governors. They are concentrating in using their trailers to put their people in the bushes because they want to get it by all means. They want to get it before Mazen Namdekan is even out. They want to get everything quickly done. And these are the things we should understand. That is why that's why I keep talking about community security outfits or groups being set by the communities. I'm hammering on this thing. And I want people to understand this. And I want you to know that the only way we can solve this problem is to come together in our communities. Now, let me tell you something. It is not possible for the communities in Biafra land to set up security outfits if they don't come together in love to understand that their life is at stake. They need to come together. So to even do that, that means they will first come together to keep their differences and then come together to reason together, to understand that they need to be in one accord for them to be able to set up community security, their community security, so that their community security group would be able to secure their lands. Benue is close to us. They are doing everything. They are buying lands in Benue, the Fulanis. They want to penetrate Biafra land. They want to defeat Biafra land before Mazen Namdekan comes out. That's why they are doing everything they can do. But the problem here, I'm not talking about Biafra today, but of course I have to link the two. But the problem here now is what is really happening to the north. Somebody need to call them to be awake. Somebody need to call them to stand up and sit up. The north is rich, having the resources. The people are poor. Their men are rich. Look at Dangote and go. They are rich. They are rich from the resources from the north, with the resources from the north, and also the resources from the east. The resources from the north are not accounted for. The resources from the east is being used to govern the whole of Nigeria. Now you can see what is going on. So as much as they do that so that you will think that okay, the resources is being used for everybody. What is coming from the east is used for everybody. But what about the resources from the north? Did you know that the monies coming out of the north are so much? Did you know that they are making hell of dollars? Hell of dollars. A bag of sand, a rare sand, is serious dollars. I'll go and look for the figures and all of that. Did you know, according to, you heard Mustafa the other time talking about this unique treasure, in the north, talking about Californium. Did you know that that thing is so expensive and they have it so much in Sambisa forest? So ask yourself, why are the northerners not doing anything about that? Why are they so docile? They have been captured by the caliphate. The caliphate has a stronghold on them, and religion has become the defeating factor. Because when people believe in religion, they believe in a God that is ordering everything, that is controlling everything, a God that is saying what they have to do and what they have to say. And according to the order of that religion, they now have a particular narrative of what that God is saying at that particular time. For instance, the Christianity that the British brought, the idea is that you submit, you turn the other cheek, you pipe low, you continue to stay under, to be subjected, you endure, you only keep praying for your leadership. The same narrative also, um, um, Muhammad also instituted into his own religion and made the people to believe that they have to, in whatever case it is, they are the children of Allah and their treasure is in heaven. 72 virgins and other girlfriends and other servants and enough wine to drink. Just be faithful on earth. Allow your leaders to enjoy the treasure here on earth, enjoy the women, enjoy the resources, enjoy everything. Your own treasure is in heaven where you're going to drink enough. Don't drink here on earth. Anybody who drinks, flog them very well. But their leaders are drinking inside, making merry, doing lots of things, humanizing, doing lots of crazy things. They are there being amageries and have to be under that situation. Please, I want you to like this video and spread it so that the Northerners could listen to it. We have to know what is really going on with the Northern people. Are they under a spell? Are the Northerners under a spell? Are the Middle Beltons under spell? Are the Northerners under spell? What is really making them stay so docile, allow themselves to be killed, continue to allow the resources to be taken? Nobody's accounting for them. They are just taken. Their rich men are getting richer. They are getting poorer. They are marginaries. I saw a particular video that wanted to make me cry. That particular video, maybe I'm going to show it the next time I'm going to talk about this matter, maybe tomorrow or in 2 days from now, the penultimate day. I'm going to talk about it. Now, this particular video, this man was cutting some, what we call ololo in Biafra land. When you say get ololo, you just roll your eba, that's the ball. Cut that little thing, put in their plates, and they were taken to eat, and they were licking their hands and licking their plates as if their life depends on that stuff. And I was wondering, how are these people surviving on this kind of abuse? How are they surviving? But we must understand that these things are happening. The Northerners are docile. Maybe we need to begin to wake them up. Let's begin to make them understand that being together in Nigeria is even a doom for them. Because for the fact that they are lying to them, making them believe that the land of Biafra and the land of Oduduwa belong to them, so they must continue to be in Nigeria and they must continue to insist of being in Nigeria because all the land of Nigeria is theirs. The more they will continue to frustrate what we are doing. If, as we are clamoring for our freedom, and some people in the Oduduwa nation are clamoring for their freedom, some people in the north are clamoring for their own freedom, some people in the middle belt are clamoring for their own freedom, and everything begin to go viral and all of that, it will be even very easy for us because we can quickly create tension in every geopolitical zone and then be able to sit down, get everybody to sit down to discuss, and then say how we want to live together. But I tell you, the best thing is total break. Because you know why? The Northerners have been radicalized. It's just like when you're talking about Africa, when we're talking about Pan-Africanism. I believe in Pan-Africanism very, very well. But the problem here is, how are you going to live with the terrorists in Mali? Because if you make the borders open, they can move anywhere. So which means that even if we believe in Pan-Africanism, we must also build solutions and create solutions that would address the issue of trans-border crossing and at the same time dealing with weapons flying here and there without checks. Because we've always been talking about free Africa, Pan-Africanism, where there's free trade, there's free movement, you can move in, you don't need visa, you don't need that, all of that. Yes, good. But we must also understand that some Africans have been radicalized by the Arab nation, by the West. They have been made to now understand or to believe that being radical is better or pays better than being, faithful and dedicated and focused and being disciplined. They have made them to believe that radicalism is the best for them. So that is a problem that the Pan-African idea has to devise solution to deal with so that we don't get into trouble at the same time as much as we're trying to be united as Africans. But the fact here is that the best thing is for us to have the Pan-African, structure established because we know that we can always solve the other problems as they come or as we go. Just like we're talking about Nigeria, the best thing is for the division because the North has been radicalized and has been taken over. How are you going to stay with the Sudan, the Sultan, and his people? How are you going to stay with them? If you still remain in Nigeria, they have free movement. They can move into your territory anytime without checks. That's why we are talking about total division. Or even if we want to talk about, autonomy and all of that, every region having their own, control. We can also still also deal with the issue of movement of weapons and dangerous people into our land. So, which means that the issue of border must also be addressed in a way that we would have checks in the borders. That means if you want to go to Oduduwa land, you have checks, you'll be checked. You want to go to Biafra land, you'll be checked. Even if you don't need visas and all of that. You want to go to the north, you'll be checked. So that we can have sanity. Because we can't continue to be in under a particular name or a control mechanism called Nigeria that keeps killing us. The northern people should reason. They should rise up and begin to think right. They have good monies in their land. They can live on their own and survive enough without the oil of the East. They can live abundantly. They have food, they have good lands. I mean, they can do business with other places like Biafra land and Oduduwa land. They can do businesses with their food items and all of that. We can buy gold from them, we can buy other materials from them to build our own nation. People should understand this. The Northerners need to reason. I'm going to take my time again. I'm just doing this just as an introductory statement. I'm going to go into facts about the riches in northern Nigeria. I'm going to lay them out, and I'm going to try to make the people understand some stuff also about the benefits of them being as a nation of theirs, because we need to educate them. We know that most of the Amajiris will not get this message, but if we can have those who relate to the Amajiris and could interpret these things to them and make them understand these things so that they will begin to have a change of mind. It's not going to be easy for them to change their minds because they are indoctrinated. Their religion overrides their reasoning. Religion is more important to them than reason, so that's the problem. And that's why humanity would always have problems, because religion overrides people's reasoning. And it's a very huge problem. But anyways, we'll keep talking about this and seeing how we can liberate ourselves. I want to appreciate you guys. And please share this on all your social media platforms, and please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not. I want to thank those of you who have commented. And if you have any question or you have anything to say, lay it out so that people can also hear what we're doing, and at the same time people can also know what is on your mind. And when I know what's on your mind too, it can help me now to further get more facts about what we're talking about and explain better in another light, or get more information concerning what we're doing. I want to thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you very good.